Welcome back to another... Let me just check the mic levels to make sure. Alright, welcome back to another episode of FireCore Fantasies. We're starting a new session. You guys won't believe what just happened. Carly, would you...
We got almost entirely through this temple and lost all of our audio.
Yes,
So...
It turns out that the audio, the H5 was recording to... two different separate channels that were not plugged into mics than the channel that we were using. So it's like an hour of footage lost, unfortunately.
That's fine.
But it's all good because we literally just restarted the temple over again and we're gonna play.
Yeah. And we're gonna get through it in
like half the time.
Yeah,
because we're gonna fucking own it.
Hopefully I remember how to do this.
Because you did it 3 seconds ago.
Yeah. I mean, why not?
No, but we had talked about a lot in the last couple episodes. I guess we'll try to kind of regenerate those conversations.
Yeah, I mean they were good conversations. We were more upset we lost the audio. I will kill this woman. There was a lot of this in the last session, but we also we talked a lot, and we were very happy with a lot of the conversations. It was very organic, and that was what we were most upset about losing, I guess.
Yeah.
But it sucks. Technical
opposed to our
difficulties.
normal conversations, which aren't organic.
No, never.
They're grown.
Homegrown.
Well, that would be organic.
Shut up.
No, but one of the things we were talking about was reading.
Sure.
We were talking about how, I was telling Carly that like I was essentially all throughout elementary school, middle school was essentially illiterate. I like actually couldn't read. It was bad.
And unfortunately, it's a reality for a lot of people.
Yeah, see, I always thought that I was kind of out of the loop with that one. I thought that like not a lot of people face that challenge.
No, but in reality, I have a lot of friends who, I don't know if I would call it illiterate, but they struggled with reading, and they had a very difficult time actually sort of coming to terms with the fact that they were dyslexic or they had a reading disability. And
well, yeah, I wouldn't say I was I wouldn't say I was completely illiterate. I just like so they all had like I don't know. I feel like for me, I didn't sit down and do it enough.
Yeah, which makes sense.
But I like. It wasn't until high school still that I started reading and I found things that I was interested in. But even then, it's still difficult for me.
Yeah.
Like you can tell we've already had this conversation before, and now it's just like, fuck, see, like I know, John.
No, I like because we talked about it a little bit more, where you were saying that you like to read certain things, and I was talking about how I find it a lot easier to read when I have specific authors in mind, or if I find a subject matter that's inherently more interesting to me than anything else. And we talked about that a little bit. Like, I can read a book of poetry no problem, but sitting down and reading a novel isn't the easiest thing, even though I'm a literature major, which is the worst.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. So we'll see. That's the thing. Like, even books that I am interested in, it's like still very hard for me, and I think that is because I literally have a hard time. What is that?
Oh, well, she can't pick up anything. I forgot.
I actually just have a hard time sitting still.
Yeah, which makes sense.
And focusing on something.
We had met you mentioned you like to read with music too.
Yes, I can't read unless I have music playing. Not really lyric heavy music, but I have to have music playing.
Yeah.
Or else I can't focus.
Mm-hmm. And I'm the exact opposite. I can't listen to music of any sort while I'm reading. It totally pulls my focus away from everything I'm focusing on, and it kills me. I don't know. Like,
do you have to be in complete silence when you read?
Not complete silence, but I can't have like music going because if it's lyrical, I'll get caught up on the lyrics, and like I've noticed more and more that like a lot of my writing tends to be inspired by lyrical stuff if I'm sitting and writing. So I might like draw from a song and like think more like, oh, this reminds me of something that might have happened with a character or a mood that's going in a scene or something.
At one point you had brought up that, excuse me, gee, I just burped. I just downed, I was drinking a black tea lemonade.
Did you down Ryan's?
No, I might though. I have to go and buy another one. No, but you had mentioned at some point that perhaps might have had something to do with people being more predominantly left-brained or right-brained.
Yeah.
I mean, no one is entirely exclusively left-brained or exclusively right-brained. Some people tend to use certain... I mean, like, there are certain parts of the brain, like, you know, the hippocampus, which is... I believe I'm pronouncing that right, which is kind of has to do with long-term memory, which is just like in the same spot that it's going to be on any brain that you look at, and it's never going to change, and it's never going to be on the left side of someone's brain or the right. It's just it is where it is, and I believe it's on the right side. I think I could be wrong. I don't know. I might be centered actually, but you know, like it is where it is, and it's not going anywhere for anyone, and everyone uses it. You know, but. Like, there are certain functions that could go either way. Or, like, I think that they say that people who are left-brained tend to be more, like, literal, tend to be more logical.
Yeah.
I
know I am
systematic.
definitely more right-brained. Like, just, I know that just everything makes a lot more sense to me. Like, I've gone and, like... had it like not analyzed professionally or anything, but people have told me like I'm more of a right brain dominant person. I'm not as like analytical when it comes to observing things and stuff. Like it's not, and it's not a bad thing or a good thing or anything. It's like I think I can't remember if it was like left brain people are usually better at math. And I was always like so jealous of people that could like do math.
Most of the people who are right brained are usually more. Also, people kind of focus on these, like, traits that are, like, people who are left-brained are more logical and realistic. People who are left-brained are more creative and talented, and that's not necessarily...
It's not necessarily true.
Yeah, like, right or wrong, or that if you do use more of your right brain, that's what you are, or if you use your left brain more, then, you know, you're not a creative person. You know?
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't necessarily mean that. I don't know. I haven't really looked much into it, but I would be interested to see how much of like that is actually truth and how much it really does affect, you know, people. But yeah, I mean, the whole reading with music might have something to do with that. I know that like. Well, yeah, I've noticed that when I listen to, it's just other weird little things. Like when I tried to read with like music on the speakers and I couldn't do it.
Yeah.
I had to have it in my ears directly there, loud, where it like blocks everything out.
Which is very interesting because a lot of people would rather have it as like a distant thing if they were gonna listen to anything. Like I'd rather have it at a distance than like right. Why is this so much harder this time around?
Yeah, so like for me, I feel like it kind of it's so present that it's like, okay, you either like it's like less to focus on because it's like either it's like the book, and the music, and that's it, and like focusing on two things isn't really difficult for me. So and they just kind of blend together.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So I'll just like read to the music, and like the music will kind of like I naturally listen to more like upbeat, you know, like upbeat, faster paced.
Yeah. Does your
music
choice in music depend on the book you're reading?
No. I exclusively really listen. I don't know. So I have a wide variety of. Usually when I read, I listen to instrumental, like EDM dance music. Okay. Which is like you would think is like weird. I'll play one of the 3 songs for you that I listen to when I'm reading Taiko. But it just like helps me focus in on the story, and then whenever I listen to those songs, now all I can think about is the book, and the characters, and just be like, oh, like now I want to read again now that I hear it. But I feel like now I'm at a point where, like, if I was reading the book without that music, I might not be able to get into it as much. You know what I mean? Like, I haven't tried.
Yeah, but I guess that makes sense. Do you, like, equate songs to characters? Or, like, situations?
Just, like, the whole world itself, like...
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, that makes sense.